2011, and give you guys a quick set of thoughts from my uh, experience going through these particular press conferences by Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Um, those of you who join my live stream at live.bwana.tv know that I've been streaming this event. You guys have seen a lot of my thoughts and reviews and reactions. You've seen those live, but those of you on YouTube and other areas probably have not. So let me give you a quick rundown. First off, we started with Microsoft's press conference, and Microsoft's press conference was a little bit bittersweet. We saw a lot of Connect. Overall, we saw Connect, but when they first came out, we saw Modern Warfare 3, and you guys know how I feel about Modern Warfare 3. It's kind of getting a little washed out for my taste, and I was a little bit ho-hum about Modern Warfare 3. But one thing I was impressed by Microsoft is that they kept the momentum going. They were just pumping out new demos and new videos over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It was like very short segments, but it was a lot of content. But it was very Connect heavy. Microsoft has a lot to be proud of with Connect. They sold a lot of them. It was very well received by the public. They were very happy to gloat that they're going to overtake everybody in worldwide sales. So I think that was the main gist of it. We did see Gears of War 3. A lot of you are looking forward to that. I'm personally not. But the big story of Microsoft's was Halo 4, which was kind of leaked a little bit ahead of time. But Halo 4 came out in terms of an announcement. It was kind of dropped on us. And it was kind of a surprise because we do know that Bungie is not going to be doing this title. It's going to be another studio. And Microsoft is kind of going, I think they're planning to milk that franchise. They call it a new trilogy. So you expect to see 2 more games after this Halo 4. So Microsoft was a little bit frustrating. I say bittersweet because we got Halo 4. We got some cool core titles. But then it was a lot of Connect. I mean, it was just so much connecting. We were joking on the stream about jazz hands. So if you hear me reference jazz hands, there was this one segment with Ghost Recon where they were configuring a gun using Connect. And it was very cool tech, looked like Minority Report. And the guy proceeded to attempt to play a first-person shooter with Connect. We saw jazz hands. He held up a gun, a virtual gun, and he proceeded to shoot. 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 That's why we called it jazz hands. Very funny. There was another segment with the football guy. Look for it. Hilarious Connect, but it was kind of ho-hum. Now, we saw Ubisoft and EA, but I'm not going to talk about those that much, except for Battlefield 3. Oof. Battlefield 3 was very delicious. It was a nice, yummy meal. They showed a very nice tank sequence. Lots of sound and visual effects that pretty much were intoxicating to the senses. We got a little bit of a taste of the multiplayer. So those of you who are excited about Battlefield 3 like I am, that was a really good thing. But let's talk. We're focusing on the big 3. Then Sony came out. And like we all anticipated, Sony came out with some apologies. Sony was like, hey, we messed up. They spent about probably like 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes talking about the PSN outage. Jack Tretton pretty much apologized, said that, they realized how important we are to them, blah, blah, blah. The lesson they learned was that, they really need to value our trust. Which, coupled with the 3-hour bowing session that happened in Japan during the press conference, to me was good enough with the welcome back package and everything, but some people thought it wasn't good enough for some reason. I don't know why. But then they proceeded to go and talk about what's coming to PlayStation. We saw Uncharted 3 like right off the bat, and I'm going about the top of my head, so if I forget something, I apologize. We saw Uncharted 3 right off the bat. Looked decent, but it looked unfinished. There were some water effects that didn't look quite as good as they should have. Some graphical artifacts, some aliasing in some places. So you can tell that the game wasn't completely done yet. But it did look impressive in Uncharted 2 fashion. Some nice quick time events, some climbing, and just spelunking and jumping across platforms and stuff. Very, very cool stuff with Uncharted. And we proceeded to then move into this, no pun intended, we then proceeded into this move segment where a lot of these games that we've known all these years, we saw move support tacked on top of it, as an optional thing. We saw Resistance Fall of Man. We saw a bunch of other titles. They're talking about Little Big Planet 2 getting more move features, just off the top of my head. And speaking of Resistance, another big announcement was a brand new television, 3D TV from Sony, $499, which is a very affordable price for a TV bundle. It comes with glasses, it comes with Resistance, and you get a 24-inch, I forgot the name of the technology, but it's like got this dual screen stereoscopic 3D effect where two players can look at the same screen and see two different things. Of course, the PS3 game has to support it for that to work. They showed some Infamous 2 stuff. And it was just a whole lot of cool things. And one of the biggest surprises for me, because I hadn't been following it from Sony's press conference, is this game called Dust, which has a tie-in, I think it's Dust 514, which has a tie-in to the PC MMO EVE Online. I think that was one of the most impressive things I heard from Sony's press conference, because I didn't know about it, and I didn't know that the elements of the PC MMO control the first-person shooter experience, or dictate some of the environment and the weapons and just the orders, if you will, and the dirt and the I keep calling it dirt, interchanging dirt and dust, in the Dust atmosphere. So I thought that was really, really cool. So overall, I think Sony did decent. A little bit too much move for me if you put all the move stuff aside. Just like with Microsoft, you put all the Kinect stuff aside, you put all the move stuff aside. It was a decent thing, but it wasn't overwhelming at all. It wasn't like, it's so great. And there was a bunch of other games that were talked about that I'm not mentioning, and I apologize. And then today, we saw Nintendo, and Nintendo shocked us. They literally shocked us. And the reason why I say they shocked us is because we were a little bit taken back and confused, because the first half hour or so was kind of paying homage to Zelda 25th year anniversary. So they were talking about the 25 years of Zelda and 25 this, and they were talking about music. They had an orchestra there, and I was like, okay, Zelda's music is great. Let's get to the point. And then we kind of shifted to this Nintendo 3DS type of deal. And we got some little tidbits of news around the Zelda Skyward Sword. They say it's coming out soon. But then they moved to the 3DS, and we saw some things with Mario. We saw some things with Kid Icarus. We saw a brand new, as Reggie called it, a brand new title in Luigi's Mansion 2. And a bunch of 3DS stuff, mainly in the form of videos. There weren't any demos, no gameplay at all. Whereas Sony and Microsoft had a lot of gameplay and demos on stage, Nintendo had none. And then the most anticipated thing that I think everyone was looking forward to this E3 was Nintendo's new announcement of a new console. So Reggie came out, and they talked about the new console, and they showed us a controller. And it's this pretty decent sized controller with a touchscreen attached, and has some very, very cool tech. You can swipe the screen and move stuff on the screen. You can, if someone wants to watch TV, you can move the experience from the television to the controller. It was some very cool technology. I think you should check it out. But while watching it, I was very, very confused, because the whole idea of a new console in the normal gamer's mind is some sort of a console device that connects your television with a GPU, CPU, memory, storage, media, and all that stuff. That was not mentioned once in the entire press conference. The whole entire focus of Nintendo's press conference was on the controller. So there was this natural level of confusion that, hey, the controller is the console? Is that it? Is it going to be an accessory? I mean, we were talking in the chat room. We were like, is this an accessory? And it wasn't until after the fact that we analyzed videos, saw the console in the corner, went to Engadget's site, and then site started posting the picture of the new console dubbed the Wii U. So it was a big level of confusion throughout the entire conference from Nintendo. I left the conference frustrated, after I watched it, I was like, what just happened? Those were my exact words. What just happened? So I didn't know if there was a new controller or a new console or what. And as time went on, those details were kind of clarified. But it was a very, very frustrating experience. But with the frustration aside, I gotta say I've seen the Nintendo Wii U specs. Let me just read some of these, some of which have been contradicted by Reggie already. The graphics card is going to be a custom AMD RV770 chip, Wolf at 766 megahertz on a 32 nanometer process, 1398 gigaflops. And then the CPU is going to be a custom IBM Power 6 chip, Fox on 32 nanometer process, 4 cores, each two-way SMT compatible and clocked at 3.5 gigahertz. It's going to be 175.9 gigaflops theoretical peak performance, single precision, and 87.6 gigaflops theoretical peak precision performance on double precision. 512 megabytes RAM, 1 gigabyte video RAM, 16 megabytes ED-RAM. It's got a 2.5 SATA drive with through 250 or 350 or 320 gigabyte capacity. And you got storage in SD and SDAC cards up to 64 gigabytes. Now here's where the confusion comes in. The spec site that I'm reading says that it has a custom Blu-ray disc up to 50 gigabytes, and Reggie kind of went on record and said it's not Blu-ray. So maybe he's just meaning that you put a Blu-ray disc in, you're not going to be able to watch it. But it seems some sort of a hybrid of Blu-ray technology. It's going to be backwards compatible with Nintendo GameCube and with the Wii disc, but Reggie already said that it's not going to be able to scale up. Video output formats, it is going to support high definition 720p all the way up to 1080p. Now, all of that stuff I just said there was no mention of any of that technology. And when Reggie was confronted with that question, he said, well, it's just a box. We don't care about the box. We care about the controller more. And I found that a little bit offensive and arrogant. I was like, well, isn't that what we're paying for? So I immediately said, well, don't charge us for it then if it's not important, you know? So it was a frustrating experience. Nintendo's taking big leaps, but I think they kind of stumbled into E3. It's just like, blah, 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 here's a controller. And everybody's just confused as to what actually happened, and we're trying to get grips on it. And it left us with a bad first impression. And then, you know the saying, you could never get a second chance to make a first impression. So I got a very bad first impression with this, with Nintendo's announcement. And that was it from Nintendo. No games. I mean, Reggie promised that there was going to be more throughout the week. And that was that. So I think a lot of people ask me that, Bwana, what is your, I don't know, what, somebody even asked me, what was your favorite press conference? What impressed you the most? And I had two things. The first thing, which is platform independent, was Battlefield 3. It's a little dependent on PC. I'm a little bit biased there. And that was Battlefield 3. And I'm telling you guys that I have never gotten goosebumps from a demonstration. But the thing that gave me goosebumps was the sound, the atmosphere, combined with the visuals of that tank battle in Battlefield 3. I was literally blown away, no pun intended, by everything. It was intoxicating to the senses. And the next thing I was impressed by was Dust 514, that you can marry PC and PS3, and Dust 514 is PS3 exclusive. It's going to be a first-person shooter console game that's going to be dictated by the economics and what's happening in a PC MMO. Never seen that before. Never seen that before at all. So that was that. Also, I forgot to mention the PS Vita, the name of the new PS or NGP console. The PlayStation Vita is the thing that was already announced, got a name. So that wasn't really a big deal to me because we knew about it. The name kind of leaked, so we knew about it already. But the price point was kind of cool, $250 for the PS Vita without 3G, Wi-Fi only, and $299 US for the one with 3G. So that's my kind of my overview and my take of the entire the big three. What happened in the press conferences, and there's going to be a lot more news coming out of this E3 show. I'm going to try to create more short videos like this. This is quote unquote short. We're not going to have a game chat this week. I'm kind of going to go with this theme now because there's going to be a lot of stuff happening this week. And I hope you all enjoyed the video. All right, this is Bwana from Bwana.tv. I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching. I won't see you all next week, but I'll see you all next time. Yes, yes.